The Russian Revolution, 1917. The fall of the Tsar and the rise of Lenin. The winter of 1917 was one of the coldest in Russian memory. The streets of Petrograd were frozen, the air thick with the smoke of factory chimneys and the murmurs of discontent. For years, the people had suffered under the weight of war, hunger, and the iron rule of Tsar Nicholas II. But now, something was stirring, a restless energy that would soon explode into revolution. In the early days of March, the women of Petrograd took to the streets. They were tired, hungry, and desperate. Their husbands were dying in the trenches of World War I, their children were starving, and the government seemed deaf to their cries. What began as a bread riot quickly grew into something far greater. Workers from the factories joined the protests, soldiers refused to fire on the crowds, and within days, the city was in chaos. The Tsar, isolated in his palace, could no longer ignore the storm brewing outside. For centuries, the Romanov dynasty had ruled Russia with absolute power, but now their time was running out. Nicholas II tried to cling to his throne, but the people had had enough. On the 15th of March, he was forced to abdicate, ending over 300 years of Romanov rule. Yet the fall of the Tsar did not bring peace. Instead, it opened the door for a new struggle, one between the Provisional Government, which sought to establish a democratic rule, and the radical Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin. Lenin had been exiled for years, but now, with the help of Germany, he returned to Russia with a single goal: revolution. His message was simple, powerful, and dangerous. Peace, land, and bread, he declared. The war must end. The land must be taken from the rich and given to the peasants. The factories must be controlled by the workers. To the exhausted Russian people, his words were like fire. By October, the Bolsheviks were ready to strike. Under the cover of night, Red Guards seized key buildings in Petrograd, the telegraph offices, the train stations, the Winter Palace itself. The Provisional Government collapsed almost without a fight. Lenin stood before the people and announced the birth of a new world, the Soviet Union. But the revolution was far from over. What followed was a brutal civil war, pitting the Reds against the Whites, brother against brother. Millions would die before the Bolsheviks secured their victory. And when the dust settled, Russia was forever changed. This is the story of how a crumbling empire fell, how a radical vision took its place, and how the world was reshaped in the fires of revolution.